Hi, students. Today we're going to take a look at exploring the idea of responsibility with an actual real life scenario. So, what we're going to be presented with is the idea that little boy Sam, broke his arm. But when you learn the reason why, you're going to need to determine maybe who is responsible for the arm being broken, for this accident. So when we take a look at these cards on this Padlet that you're going to maneuver, you're going to say to yourself, well, I wonder maybe who is responsible for Sam breaking his arm. I would ignore these top cards at the top, to repeat myself, for right now. What you're going to want to focus on are these cards down here. Each of them give you a little bit of a clue into what really happened and why Sam broke his arm, right? So you will want to just kind of read through them. And as you're doing that, you're going to gain some more information as to why. And to give you a little clue about what happened was a car hit him. So you're kind of thinking to yourself, why was it that a car hit him? Was he on the road? Was the car in the correct place? What were all the events leading up to him getting hit by the car, which broke his arm? So when I look, for example, at this card over here, and notice how movable all of these are, it says the speed limit sign was hidden behind the branch of a tree. So that gets me thinking, well, maybe then the driver didn't notice that they should have slowed down. Maybe they were going a higher speed. Then you want to look, this actually makes it bigger if you click on it. This card says Sam's parents bought him a new bike for his birthday. So again, some of these facts might just be facts, and or they also might help you conclude and draw that as a conclusion to understand maybe what is the real reason. Now, the nice thing about this activity is there's more than one answer. You just have to be able to validate your answer. You have to be able to say, well, if we look at, for example, this card, this helps support the fact that I think so-and-so is responsible for the accident and Sam breaking his arm. So when we take a look at these cards up top, now I want to go back to these. These are all of the place cards where you'll kind of match the mystery cards at the bottom. So each of them relate to a different sort of character or person in the scenario. The purple one in the top left says, what cards show evidence that relate to the owners of the parked cars basically being to blame for his accident? The next one, evidence that relates to Sam's friend being to blame for the accident. This one, evidence that relates to Sam's dad being to blame or responsible. Evidence that it's Sam's sister, that it's the school's responsibility, Sam's mom, the council, and in this case, just so you're aware what the council is, and this card kind of elaborates on that, it's just the city council. So imagine like the mayors and those people that kind of help with the roads and things of that nature. Over here, back to the left, evidence that it was the driver of the car who was responsible. Evidence that it was Sam himself. Evidence that it relates to every single person I've mentioned so far, or evidence that it relates to no one I've mentioned so far. So the idea of this task, now that you've understand maybe the thinking behind it, what are the actions on this Padlet that you're going to do? You have, like I showed earlier, the ability to move these cards. And maybe, so over here, I'm just, for example, moving evidence that relates to Sam's mom being to blame. So I might look for some of these cards, and notice you have to scroll down a little bit and see which one might relate to Sam's mom. I do remember a second ago, we had that card that said his parents bought him a bike. Well, his mom is one of his parents, so I could drag this over here. And then if I find another card that relates to it, I can simply put it below it, next to it, what have you. And then maybe now I'll move this one. All right, so now I'm looking at the council. I happen to see council right here. So eventually all of these cards, all of these cards will be near one of these labels of a person. And you have room, like you can kind of scroll down as you sort of place them. And if you're able to then offer a screenshot to your teacher so that, pardon me, he or she can see how you organize things. The biggest part of this is as you're sorting them, your conclusions and your thoughts are going to change because you're going to be gaining new information. So as you learn about maybe what the parents' actions were leading up to the accident and the counsel's actions or lack thereof, you're saying to yourself, oh, well, that changes my thinking. Maybe it's really so and so. But instead, you have that flexibility. And if you have the fortunate opportunity to work with a partner, that's even better because then you guys can talk and say to yourselves, well, I think it might be so and so, or maybe it's this. And again, remember, there's no one right answer. It's just that you can validate your answer. So using the evidence from these mystery cards, using that when you discuss with your teammate or your class, saying why you think that whomever it is to be blamed for this. All right, have fun.